guy showed up and showed me that hummingbirds really like it. And then another one showed up, and then another. It was really funny while we were standing there. And that plant is about as tall as me. I'm taking a photograph of it almost eye to eye. I'm not bending down here at all.
Okay, that particular one is a native.
That's a native thistle. Yeah.
Okay, but there's other thistles that are invasive, right?
Bull thistle is the one that you're going to see most often, and it has a purple, a much lighter lavender-colored flower, and that's the one that tends to invade the most. And it does actually have some habitat value. I hate to admit that. It's an invasive non-native that does actually have some habitat value. I've seen plenty of birds foraging on it. The seeds
what about that slender yellow one? There's a whole bunch of it out at Rancho San Antonio.
Probably yellow star thistle.
Yeah, that's
different. It's not. It's related to this only vaguely, in that it's the same family, but it's not the same genus.
The same tribe, but not the same genus.
Right. But yellow star thistle is a problem. There's a lot of problem thistles. Italian thistle, that one. There's milk thistle. There's a bunch of problem ones, but this one's not a problem one. So,
okay.
And I haven't seen hummingbirds on any other thistle. So oceans of annuals. This is Carrizo Plain in a pretty good year. Annual plants are ones that grow up, set seed, die. That's how they deal with our summer. They're all growing up right now. It's the wildflowers that we think of. A lot of the plants downstairs are annuals. They're really valuable for forage. So you've got forage for nectar. You've got all sorts of things nectaring on them, but then when they go to seed, they're also very valuable for birds to eat the seed. So I'll just go through a few annuals, a few of my favorites. This one's called owl's clover. And if you've ever wondered why it's called owl's clover, there's the owl. It's not really a clover at all. It's actually hemiparasitic plant that grows on grasses, and sometimes in mass profusion in good years. But there's the owl and owl's clover. Lupins are very, very popular plants. Clarkia, this is a red ribbons Clarkia growing in my yard. This is Coyote Ridge with a beautiful display of tidy tips and gold fields. You can see Mount Hamilton in the background there. This is a place that has so much habitat it's not even funny. And if we all had this in our backyards, we'd have a very healthy area. But we're not gonna. How about this? This is Carrizo Plain last year. It really doesn't have that much to do with habitat. It's just pretty.
I have heard of that.
I love this. This was my desktop.
That's still in the Carrizo Plains, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are those three?
So I think we're mostly looking here at maybe Phacelia.
Basilia
Probably hillside daisy, Monolopia, right here.
and Goldfields.
And I think this might actually be a blazing star right here.
Blazing Star?
Yeah, that's the San Joaquin blazing star. Yeah, that you see in profusion down there. It's a little bit different color than the poppy, but and it's funny. We went down this year at the exact same time, and it was nothing like this. Even though we had a decent rainfall year, it's timing. And I think the drought we had in January, where we hardly had any rain, did in the timing. So I'm going to start setting up a tradition where I go. This is the second week of April of last year. I want to go the second week of April all the time if I can, just see how it is every year. Back closer to home, this is Style Ranch, and these are California poppies, our plain old California poppy, which actually provides quite a bit of nectaring. If you have these in your yard, you probably see them visited with enthusiasm. Combined with chia, another pretty easily grown plant of dry areas, an annual sage. We're talking a lot about sages. This one's an annual sage. Very important plant for its seed. If you were living here 200 years ago, you'd know where all of these grew because your people depended on it. It's got a very nutritious seed that kept them going throughout the year. Another one that has good tasting seeds is red mace, Calendrinia. Brilliantly colored. This is more lupin. This is actually right near Lexington, a year when the water was down. It's not this year, it's really high. These are all underwater now. But I just couldn't believe how beautiful this field was and how busy it was with activity. And then when I walked through it when it went to seed, if you know lupins, they dehiss, they pop. So I would be walking through it and go shooting bullets everywhere when I walk. It was great. This cute one is common mattia or elegant mattia. I think elegant mattia is a better name. Really pretty little flower.
Is that in your yard?
It's in my yard.
Yeah.
And you wake up to this in the morning, and then by about 10 o'clock, they start closing and closing, and they're closed into buds. Chinese houses does really well in shade. If you're looking for annuals in shade, they need some sun.
Can it take any sun?
It can take some sun. They can take quite a bit of sun. Half a day. They might be a little shorter if they get that much sun. But they can be used to make a nice display in a part shady area that may not have other wildflowers available to it. This is a thigh spots from the Sierra, but it grows pretty well in our area if you can keep the slugs off of it. That's one of the ones that slugs just love. And I'm going to close with some pictures of our emblem, the blazing star. A beautiful plant, again, important for nectaring, for seed source. Growing it in your yard is a little bit rough. I just had a lady earlier today who just fell in love with the one that's downstairs and said, I want to get this in my yard, how do I do it? And we spent about 20 minutes talking about it because it's one of those that's kind of rough. But if you have a hot, dry area that you can create a sort of a rocky environment, you have a chance. We have a member of our chapter who has this in his yard, and it comes back every year with no effort at all. So he's got just the right circumstance, and that's in San Jose. So it can be done.
Hot, dry.
Hot, dry. Torturously hot and dry. And the lady was asking, so should I fertilize it? No. should I water it? No. Just ignore it. Oh, I'm on board with that. Yeah, that sounds good.
Good drainage.
Annual wildflowers, by the way, just a little tip. When I'm sowing them, I look to sow them. First of all, don't try sowing anything right now. It's just a waste of time unless you really want to put some seed down for the birds. That's fine. Do it in fall, right before the first rains. I'll literally be watching the forecast and going, okay, the big storm's coming. It's time to go out and seed. I'll put my seeds in a jar with some soil and a few rocks and shake it for about a minute or two because a lot of the seeds like disturbance. And then I'll seed them out as those first rains are coming. The rains will beat the seeds into the ground, and I don't have to worry about the birds taking the seed because a lot of times people will go, I put those seeds out and the birds came the next day and nothing came up. Well, that was expensive bird food is what it was. So just keep that in mind if you're trying to establish annual natives, or annuals really of any kind. It's either best to get one that's already started, like Sally Casey has for sale out there, or do it in fall when it makes the most sense. So that's all I have, some recommended reading here. Certainly Gardening with Natives is a group that is all about this and other use of native plants. So if there's any other questions, I'm happy to answer, but otherwise, thank you.
How do you feel?